Can't catch you slipping out here.
Bro, that countdown was crazy. Almost
That
got
was
me out
quick,
of
right?
hat.
You saw that.
Bro.
You saw that quick.
Yo, I was
You're
like,
like, yo,
yo.
no. Chill. They can't
That was
catch me slipping.
muscle memory, bro. I didn't even know where my hat was.
But you knew.
Literally, it was just happened, bro. I was like, I can't.
But all of it, you just knew where it was just by muscle memory.
Yeah, I'm woofing right now. My hair up top. I want to surprise
You're
people.
woofing, bro. I got Duck Dynasty going on over here. Are you kidding me? He said I'm woofing. Duck Dynasty. I don't think you understand the glory that's going on right here. Like they'll probably confuse me for a southerner out here.
Duck Dynasty.
I got that good citizen shirt on right now. Yo, shout out to Forbidden Clothing, bro.
Yo, so where you getting all this gear?
Yo, Forbidden Clothing, bro. I got my fake news network coffee cup, but today, I got Mr. Soul, Mr. Baritone today.
My man put the legend out. We're gonna have to find some today. Show them soul now.
We have to find it.
Yeah,
we have to see if we got something in the archives for our
we might have a little
today.
sign. Let's see. But so many people don't know nothing about him, by the way. Like literally.
But that's on purpose.
Yeah, that's on purpose. Crazy.
Because he has too much logic. My man is just
black, educated against.
Yo, even me, I'm like, yo, you can't be spilling too much, bro. You can't be spilling too many of these secrets out here.
Yeah, the man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, but you know what time it is, yo. You know what's happening.
Yeah, it's that time. And hello and welcome to another live episode of Drinks with a Nobody. I'm Macho, that's Savory, and you're watching us on Nobody TV. Follow us on Twitch at MachoFix88 at Savory _. Follow us on Twitter, same handles. You can catch us there. And you might see the heat on Twitter. Don't hate the messenger, hate the game. And in case you miss any of our content, be sure to go onto the YouTube, type in Drinks with a Nobody. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want more content. Please be sure to click that notification bell so you never miss a thing. I got a question for you, Mr. Savory. Why in the world do we want our audience or anybody to stop right here? Don't keep scrolling. Why do we want them to stop and listen to us nobodies?
I'm going to tell you why, man. And I always try to keep this simple. We try to have fun. And we try to go deep in places people don't want to go to. Actually, it might not even be deep, man. It just might be small talk conversation on things that people actually don't want to talk about. And I tell people this. You ready for this? This is what I tell people.
Tell me.
You ever sat home and you're like, yo, I got this crazy thought, bro. But who do I share it with?
Yeah.
We here for those kind of thoughts.
Oh,
man.
really?
Yeah. We here for that. You ever been home and been like, yo, why are we not talking about this? Why the media don't mention none of these things? Damn, should I tweet this? I'm gonna tell you right now, man. Drinks for the Nobody is what we're here to do. We're here
That's
to talk
what we're
about
here
it,
for.
break it down. Even
Damn right.
though we don't know the answers, we are out here to talk about it.
Yeah. And look, we're just two nobodies, but we can do this together. Let's engage together. Let's get active in our comments. Let's talk about some of these topics. But be sure, go into that fridge, go into your kitchen, get whatever kind of beverage you want, pop that open, go sit back, relax, and be prepared to engage. That's what we want here at Drinks with a Nobody. And thanks for having a drink with us. Today, we're going to get into the topic, well, the whole idea of racism in sports, but we're going to isolate that in some form or fashion. But before we do that, let's get to know us a little bit. Mr. Savory, what is your favorite sport to watch?
My favorite sport to watch is for sure basketball. But nowadays, basketball is my favorite to watch. Yeah, like TV wise, yeah.
So wait a minute. I'm curious. So you think because of like how it moves, the action, TV, it captures your eye. Like you're like, let's go, like you're in it.
Yeah. Basketball is a fun sport. It's a fun sport to watch. Baseball is incredibly boring to me, but I like it live. It's incredibly boring for me to watch.
Yes, I agree. I love that sport. We talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, football playoff is dope to me. Every sport has its thing, but for me, if I were to pick a sport to watch, just chilling and on any kind of day, I'll pick basketball. Yo, hold
Mm,
up. You know what sport is crazy to watch too?
what's that?
Low-key, the most underrated sport to watch is tennis.
Tennis is solid, but
Solid.
I'll give you one
Watch.
better of what's most underrated, and that's rugby. Rugby is
No, that's trash.
unreal.
No, that's
All right. Just give it a watch first.
I don't
Give
know
it a
about
watch, my guy. My favorite sport to watch has been in the recent years. Well, before this, I'll unveil this in a second. But my favorite sport to always watch was football. Ever since I was a kid, I love football.
yeah.
And I just like the activity. I like how guys trash talk. I like how it gets, gets a little physical. But they don't let guys get really physical all the way. They kind of stop it, quail it, sportsmanlike conduct, all that
Yeah.
stuff. Until just recently, you know what's my favorite sport to watch? I mind you, I'm blowing my mind right now because I'm like, I can't wait to finish this live, but I don't want to finish this live because today is opening night for me. It was opening night last night, and I think y'all know where I'm going, and that is hockey. I love hockey, bro.
Word.
Don't look at me like, yo, don't look at me like that, bro.
Yo, you love
Don't
hockey?
you
For
dare.
real?
Don't you dare. I love hockey. I have grown a serious passion over the years since
Yo,
you and I lived together. I have grown a serious
yo.
passion
So
for
hold on. Let
hockey.
me ask you a question on that. Yo, why they let them go at it like that in hockey, like holding each
That's
other's
how it's got
shirt?
to be. That's how it's got to be.
There's
Don't
there's
change
no
this.
way
Don't
around
come
that.
in here with your
That's in the rules.
PR. Don't come in here with your way of snowflakeness. Don't come in
Yo,
here with hockey with
no
that.
penalty for that. You could just
No, there's a penalty for fighting. Yeah, it's a penalty.
nah. I don't know about that, bro. I seen two
If you
people.
fight,
The ref
if
just
you
looked at it. I think the ref gives you like 30 seconds to fight. Nah? Isn't that a
no,
rule?
depending on how the engagement is, if guys want to go, they can go. The thing about it is that if you actually go, then when you're done going, when you're done fighting specifically, you got to go in the penalty box for 2 minutes. Both sides get it. When you're
They
instigate, when
let you
one side,
go though. That's wild.
yeah, they fight, and everybody on the team knows that's how it's got to be. You hit a guy the wrong way, you hit him dirty. Be prepared because your best man's about to get it, and they're gonna have to drop gloves. That's how it's got to be, and that's what I love. They settle it right there on the ice, and guys get it on in the penalty box. They get out, they play the rest of the game. That's how it works. Now, if you continue, you start hitting dudes
Savages.
nasty, you start getting dirty with it. You best believe you're gonna get suspended. You're gonna get out because there's a way to do things. There's a way to settle your differences, and being dirty about it ain't that. You get what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
yeah, I love the hockey.
that's dope.
Rangers is my favorite team. I love watching hockey in general. Shout out to the Seattle Kraken. They had their first game last night against the Vegas Knights, and it was such a really entertaining game, bro. If you can, just watch the highlights. Just give it a shot.
Yo,
Seattle
anybody
Kraken
play
scored their
FIFA?
first
Come
goal.
at me.
Oh, FIFA?
I'm
Oh,
the FIFA master though.
yeah.
Yeah.
I used to see you go hard in the house. Like you used to go
Online too.
crazy
I'll
in
play
that.
online.
Yeah, and it's tough to play online in FIFA. I
Yeah, that
got
competition
smoked several
different.
times.
Yeah,
I
competition.
lost 10 zip one time. Can you believe I went that long? Like I actually sat through that?
Yeah,
And
I think I remember
I
you
was
telling
just
me.
more
I think you remember
enamored.
telling me when I went home, you was like, "Yo, somebody BB10 today."
Yeah, I think I was just more enamored by the fact that the dude was putting mixes on me, putting moves on me. I got my sister calling me right now. She knows better. I got my live going right now. What's wrong with her? All right,
Yo,
let's get
yo,
to
yo,
it.
yo,
Let's get
yo.
to
But
the
where we at?
topic.
I want
Right
to know where
now,
we at today. What we doing? What we talking about? Can we
here's
get
something
to it?
going on.
Oh,
More racism in the NFL. And I want to open up with this. Some of my personal feelings first with what I hear what's going on here. And this frustrates me when I hear of the whole idea of more racism in the NFL or hearing racism is not over in the NFL. 70%, in fact, I would even go as high as 80% of the players in the NFL are black. That's right, I said it. Black. There is no in between. There's no half whites. There is some half whites, but I'm talking about black as black. They're full black. And you got 70, 80,
boom.
85% of them are black. And you got head coaches that are black. You got coaching staffs that are black. You
What does
got
that prove, though?
referees. It just proves that there's an integration. And
Okay.
it's gonna come with its differences. It's gonna come with its shortcomings. Oh, I just realized something here.
What you got?
Oh no, I saw something here on the heading that was kind of wrong, but it's not mental breakdown there. But anyways, but there's an integration and that comes at a cost and it comes with its own differences and uniqueness. However, we had this major push with Colin Kaepernick, half white, a one dropper, as Bob Marley would call him, a one dropper, has now go on this push of systemic racism in our society, goes and takes a knee and says, "Oh, I'm going to do this because I don't think we're dealing with racism in our country." And I have some points to that. I have some statements that I got to make today. I got to get off my chest, and I hope
Oh, you're
everyone's
taking it
willing to.
back. You're taking it back to
Oh no,
Kaepernick.
I'm just mentioning it. I'm mentioning Colin Kaepernick as to this wave. But if you look at the end zones in the NFL, all of it says end racism, hashtag end racism, end systemic racism, or end hate, or whatever the case may be. There is this propaganda motto going around in the NFL, despite the fact that every time I turn on a Sunday and watch the NFL, majority of the players are black. Majority of those players are millionaires. Majority of those players have such a powerful influence, and I'm sitting there hearing end systemic racism. That confuses the mess out of me, dog. So here's something that I'm going to give you some time to open up some thoughts. I got some clips here. I got to roll with some of these reactions from ex NFL players and even some commentators on the media. But what are your initial thoughts about
Um,
hearing the news out of the NFL?
well, since you took it back to Kaepernick, I'll kind of briefly start there. Yeah, man, when you see these movements rise
One dropper.
from the um from the initiation of movements like Black Lives Matter and things like that, you have a lot of momentum riding on these movements and no questions being asked. All right. So
Or
this is
nobody wanting to sit through those questions.
yeah, but at the end of the day, the media's not asking questions, celebrities are pushing it, hashtags are trending. So you're left with one point of view, which is racism, the NFL. So anything questioning that, you look around and you're like, why are you questioning this? Right? Some people will give you these vague answers. So I've always looked at it like, man, these people don't want solutions, right? They want to continue to kind of keep us in a perpetual state of blaming racism for every single thing
Nah,
they
you
could.
know what you sound like, Lou? You sound like a Tom, bro.
Sound
You
logical.
sound like you sound like an Uncle Tom, bro. What is that dude?
I'm
What did
gonna
that
call
dude
myself
say? What did
logical
he
Tom
call you on TikTok? What did homeboy call you
on
on
TikTok.
TikTok?
Yeah, what he called me? I forgot.
Bro, he called you, I'm not gonna learn from some dumb fuck on TikTok about gender.
Crazy, right?
And
You're
my
like,
man's response was golden. He said, see, there you go. You can't even have a civil conversation over the internet because you
so
want to be
used
a
to that on
snowflake.
Twitter. I'm like, it didn't even catch me by surprise. I'm like, yo, this guy's
You
a
want to be a snowflake
keyboard warrior.
and
But
you want to start
nonetheless,
insulting me.
to finalize,
Keyboard.
fast forward.
He said keyboard warrior.
Yeah, he's keyboard warriors, man. I can't pay attention to these people. But fast forward to what's happening now, man. I'm always skeptical nowadays when everything is framed in the lens of racism and no other argument can be inserted for you to
Yeah.
speak about other possibilities. So that's kind of
And
my
but
take on it. I try to take it case by case. I try
all
to
right.
give the benefit of the doubt, but at this point, man, I think it
It
gets
is what it is. We're both Uncle Toms. That's what they're gonna call us. We're
yeah.
Uncle Toms. And you know what? What we do here on Drinks with a Nobody is to show everybody here that we're willing to challenge the experts. So here's what we got here.
Versus the experts.
This is everybody. We can challenge the experts. So let's see what some of these ex NFL players, particularly Randy Moss, let's see his response. I'm curious. Let's get a look here. Let's roll the film.
10 years, I'm very hurt by what I'm hearing coming from a guy like Jon Gruden, where he's done so much for the game of football. But as a player going out today, the Raiders are coming off a loss, and it's hard for us. Y'all know as a coach and as players, y'all know throughout the week how hard it is to get back on track coming after a loss or even a win. Just preparing each and every week, and now we have a bump in the road from leadership coming from above from our head coach. So how can we focus going into a game where we're uncertain where this is going or what direction our team is going in? And you heard Adam Schefter talking about the one black player. Well, you don't want to say his name because he's totally wrong, and this is not understanding the magnitude of something like this.
He's talking about Josh Jacobs, I believe. He gave his response on Sunday. I think it was Josh Jacobs. I think so. I could be wrong. Anybody watching, please correct me in the chat. But basically, he was asked, "What do you think about Jon Gruden's statements and about the emails?" And basically, he said, "Man, it sounds nasty, but I know the man. I know the man, and he is not what you see on these emails. I know him. I see him."
Randy
And
Moss is saying that now?
no, Brandon Jacobs said that on Sunday.
Okay,
That's
gotcha,
who he's
gotcha.
referring to. He's talking smack about Jacobs, saying he don't understand the magnitude of what's going on here. He does. He's in the locker room with his coach.
Oh,
He's
gotcha.
like, "Yo,
Alright, that's
I
good
know the
context.
man. I know the man."
So he's
And
criticizing
plus,
another
even
black man for thinking differently than him.
yes,
Can we get
exactly.
to it? I just want to make sure
So
we
he's
break
throwing
it down
shade at another black man
for
instead of
thinking
coming
different.
alongside him, say, "Yeah, you know what? I'm sure he knows him."
Don't
And
you
what
dare say
and the
something
other thing
else
that
other than
Jacob
racist.
said is that he may have said that 10 years ago, but we can grow from these things.
It's either
So-
racism or nothing, bro.
Or nah.
We're going into the 21st century, okay? And instead of us moving forward, we're moving backwards. And I don't, and I really don't know what percentage of the National Football League is black, but I know it's over 50%, 60, 70%.
Try 80.
Okay?
Try 85.
And I know we generate a whole lot of money for this National Football League. And for you to hear Adam Schefter talking about some discipline from Al Davis, the clock is ticking. We are watching to see what.
Don't just say we generate a whole lot of money. Y'all make a whole lot of money.
What the National Football League is going to do about this, because like I just said, we're trying to move forward going into the to the 21st century with the National Football League. And you talking about the kids from 10, 15 years from now that's going to come into the league. What is this showing them? If they're coming in to try to keep this National Football League going, generating all this money and being this good entertainment for our country, where are we headed? So today, going against.
All right. So where are we headed? He said
acting like he said we all the way back in lynching days, bro. I feel like, hold up, I kind of want to see. I ain't see that. Wait, I'm curious, but yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here's what I'm saying. He said we're entering the 21st century for y'all. He's saying we're going backwards. How are we going backwards, player? How are we going back? See, we'll never get out of this. We'll never get out of this. This is what I'm saying. This is why I'm frustrated, y'all. We'll never get out of this if we keep blaming or keep shifting or keep saying, "Well, I don't like the way he said what he said. That made me feel this, and now I believe he's a racist." So you look at your. I grew up in the hood, and I heard some of the most racist, nastiest stuff coming from out of the folks' mouth, and even my mouth. And I was never considered a racist. Why? Because you're talking about the white people. You blame everything on the white people, and all of a sudden, not racist at all. No prejudice at all.
So let me ask you a question, because I see you're passionate, your frustrations raising right now, your anger. I would call it some type of righteous anger. My question is, are you mad that, or you mad now? But are you mad that this is automatically tailored to a racist conversation, or are you mad that Randy Moss is kind of like dismissing his kind of privilege or whatever you might call it? Like what's the heart of your.
Okay, great question. And the reason why I'm upset is because they use racism to get a rise out of us. They use racism to motivate or manipulate us to make a decision one way or the other. So if we don't agree with them, you see what he did there, or he don't understand the magnitude of what's going on. Why are you putting that man in this? That man was asked a question. No one, he didn't ask for that. You're gonna ask it, I'm gonna answer it. I'm gonna defend my coach because that's what we're told to do. We're told to be there for our coach. We're told to be there for one another. That's what we do in practice. That's what we do in two-a-days. That's what we do. I played football. You're supposed to defend your man next to you because that's all that matters when you're playing. So now you're telling me, oh, he don't understand. So now you're trying to cause a rift in the locker room?
Yeah, you know what's crazy? That's good. I like how you explained that, because it gave us clarity. Because we live in such a environment, culture in America now, that as when something happens to a minority black man, you either have to assume or believe that it's racism or get out of the conversation. it's almost the equivalent of voting for Trump nowadays, right? So it's
you can't
almost
have your
like
own mind. Yeah.
you either have to think it's racism, believe it, or just stay out of the conversation and don't question this. It's racism or nothing. It's
Or
weird.
nah. Or
Which,
nah.
it's just, yeah, it's interesting times, man. Everything.
Yeah. Interesting times, and everything now
Well,
becomes a
hold up.
picking of the side. Yeah, go ahead.
This is Randy Moss. I heard Randy Moss started crying. Is that true?
Yes, he did. He got emotional.
You,
I
you,
kept that part out of it because I have other reactions from guys like Marcus Spears here on Get Up.
cool. I was just curious about his cry. I'm like,
Yeah,
damn,
yeah. If
man.
anyone, and that was a great question, Lou. Thank you. Anyone who wants to watch that and see the full reaction on Randy Moss. Let's check this man out right here,
Let's go.
Marcus Spears, who I actually liked as an NFL player and still like as a person. I don't know the man, but here's his reactions to what about the Jon
I like
Gruden
this. I haven't
situation.
seen this. I like this.
To what went down.
Yeah, listen, who you are is eventually going to be exposed. I say it all the time. Like you are in the
First off, does he realize he's talking about himself? And does it matter to him? Like, my whole thing is does anybody realize you're talking about yourself? So now all the conversations you have privately, so you have to be now above all that mess. That's what I'm saying. Are you above all the mess? Are you without sin?
Yeah.
That's my question. Here we are.
Good point.
the situation, especially with us sitting on this show with coaches, with players. Like, who you are will eventually come to light. And obviously, when you think about Jon Gruden and the things that he said, and he never meant to hurt anyone, yes, you did. That's damn well what you meant to do. Because the email.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. And we're going to talk about.
Wait, he didn't? You don't think he meant to hurt anybody?
He didn't mean to hurt nobody. And we're going to talk about exactly what really went down. But let's continue hearing this reaction.
Say that. It's not nothing. It's not a figment of anybody's imagination. It's not trying to add anything to what Jon Gruden sent in those emails. It's who you are, boss. And you are that guy because you did it for that long. So it's not, it's about getting caught here, fellas. Like, let's be real about it.
And
When
this
he
is
says you
why,
are that guy, he's talking about you are that racist guy. Yeah, okay.
Lou, what's your feelings right now so far?
Look, man, you know how I feel, man? I feel like I feel a little different than you, but we're thinking the same. My feeling right now is I'm tired of the same old narrative, man. Like you're just draining me, man, So my frustration is more inside right now, but quite frankly, I'm like, yo, again. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're doing this again, you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of like tired of this a little bit, the same narrative, man, but that's kind of where I'm at, yeah.
That couldn't have been said any better. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Here we go again.
You just communicated my feelings without knowing what I really feel. That's crazy.
It's about Jon Gruden being exposed, and now he's sorry, and now he apologizes for the things that he had going on for a number of years. So listen, we're gonna have a conversation about where the league goes and all of these things that come along with when something like this happens in the NFL. This is about Jon Gruden. This is about his feelings, who he is, and the
Here we
things
are.
that he said. I stand on it. Y'all know me. I'd say it all the time. Say what you mean and mean what you say. All them damn emails that Jon Gruden sent.
Mind you, I don't know if anybody knows, and that's where I'm going to leave that there. I don't know if anybody knows. I have another reaction from Keyshawn, and I have a final reaction from Stephen A., who I don't agree with Stephen A., by the way, but I agree with him on this point. And I'm gonna tell you, Marcus Spears played in the NFL, and I played football. I played in a minor level. I played high school football. And I played primarily with Black and Hispanic kids. And the things I heard in the trenches, I was a center. The things I heard in the trenches about me as a Hispanic or about this dude as a Black dude, I mean, the things that you would hear because they would say those things to get in each other's heads. Imagine a white coach hearing that.
Yeah.
Imagine, just for a second, imagine a white coach hearing that. Y'all just saying racial slurs at each other. In fact, you're talking racial slurs towards me. You're assuming me or calling me cracker coach, or you're calling me. Imagine a coach listening to that. Imagine an executive listening to that. That I'm not validating them to even say what they say, but I'm saying, first off, a man is entitled to his own bigotry. That's my point. When I learned in those trenches, a man is entitled to his own bigotry.
Wow.
And Marcus
Wait, what you mean by
Spears,
that?
Marcus Spears should know better and knows that when he's in those trenches as a D lineman, because that's what he was, he knows that he said things to get into the quarterbacks' heads, whom are predominantly white when he was playing. He knows he said
But
stuff.
remember, the narrative is also they can't be racist. So it's a different standard of accountability. So
What I mean,
your
man,
argument
every
falls
man is
short
yeah.
according to that.
And what I mean by every man's entitled to their own bigotry is a form of freedom of speech, so long as you don't act on it. If you start now with your bigotry, now saying let's go lynch a nigga, and now let's actually hang him, that you're not entitled to that. Just like you're entitled, just like you said the point yesterday, you're entitled to hold a gun. You're entitled to have your access to it. But you're not entitled to kill somebody with it.
Do you think this is in the level of that kind of talk of like, yo, let's lynch this nigga? That's how you feel like this, like his emails?
Okay. So you think what you're asking me is, do you think Jon Gruden's email communication was of the level of like, yo, let's lynch this nigga?
Yeah, exactly.
Negative. Not even close, I would say.
Have you read all of them?
I haven't read all of them, but the media
more are
is
coming out. It seems like it's a little
the
more.
media is coming out and saying he was misogynistic, he was this, that, and the third, and that he was talking about how a black man's lips looked, or how this team shouldn't have drafted a queer and stuff like that. And first of all, he has some negative remarks towards Joe Biden. How come we're not hearing that? He called Joe Biden a clown. Okay, how come we're not hearing that? How come that's not on the surface? And that also ties to my cynicism as well. So there's another clip here of Keyshawn Johnson, who played for him, by the way.
I like this.
Played and won a ring. He won a ring with homeboy. So I'm gonna share this right here, and I'm gonna roll a film.
Wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
For context, the person speaking out won a ring with Gruden as coach?
Yes, when he was playing with the Buccaneers.
Oh,
Gruden was the head coach of the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Won with Warren Sapp. Mind you, he coached Warren Sapp. What was he guilty of? And mind you, he's still looked at as a legend. Warren Sapp, and he should be
now from Madden. Gruden,
and he should be. He should be looked at as a legend. Warren Sapp was what? Paying for prostitutes and abusing them, right? Slapping them around, doing all that. And he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, he was doing it during that time. Listen, and Keyshawn Johnson had his issues with Jon Gruden when he was playing for him. Okay, so he talks about that. He addressed that here. Let's give that a listen.
Very disturbing. Here's a guy that I won a Super Bowl with and I played with. And I had my issues with him. Okay? Well documented. But at the same time, what he said about D. Smith is disturbing. It's unacceptable. And this is why, in this country, we are in a position that we are in as human beings, not only human beings, but as African Americans, because we gloss over these sort of things and act like it's not that big of a deal.
And this is where I get also frustrated, because first off, minorities are not the only people in this country. And when we think minorities, it's not only black and Hispanics. You have Indians, you have Japanese descent, you have Chinese descent, you have people from the Middle East, all dark skinned. You got Japanese, you have Taiwanese, you have Philippines who are dark skinned. You have people who are dark skinned. And listen, you may not see them as black as you, but you don't understand their bigotry as well. You understand a form of bigotry, but you don't know what they had to go through. So my whole thing is, don't talk as if there's only one race dealing with bigotry. Don't say, especially African Americans. All people have been victims of bigotry. Every single one, including the white race. So that's why I get a little frustrated, because we're not looking at the whole perspective here.
I just wrote a book, The Forgotten First, talks about these same damn issues back in 1930. And here we are in 2021 still dealing with the same thing. Yeah, it was 11 years ago. It shouldn't be that big of a deal.
He said 2020. Yeah, it was 11 years ago. No, we're not dealing with it today. We're not dealing with it today. When your end zone say end racism, when you got quarterbacks saying say her name and on the back of their helmets, come on now. Come on, Keyshawn, do better. Enjoy your millions, player.
I would
Do
argue.
better.
I would argue in our country now, because of how this script is playing in our society with minorities and blacks, I would argue that they probably have more power in many different areas
Oh,
of life because of this. That's what's crazy about this. When you think about it, you got diversity, inclusion in jobs. We have billions of dollars going through the entertainment
affirmative
industry.
action.
We have affirmative action. Like, if used well, these things could be tools that would actually make your life easier as a minority moving forward, in contrast to other minorities like Indians, Chinese, and all that, who are minorities nonetheless, but don't get that kind of pedestal of
They
oppression.
don't get that kind of rep. Yeah, they don't get that.
get that,
They don't get that kind of sway.
which is
So, like for example, I don't know if anyone knows, but The Convenient Minority is a book. Let me. I think it's by Justin Yu wrote this book called Convenient Minority or Inconvenient Minority. And he talks, and he's Chinese. He's American born Chinese, and he's basically talking about how all we keep talking about is whites and blacks, but all of a sudden, no one remembers the people in the middle. And when you talk about blacks, it's just incorporating the Hispanics. Yeah, the Hispanics too. But what we really talking about? We're talking about blacks. Blacks deserve this. Blacks deserve that. Blacks deserve this, and they should be seen as that. Mind you, you have, like, for example, Dave Chappelle, whom I love this stand up. It was funny as hell.
Yeah.
But he talked about how he has his problems with whites. Player, the majority of your audience on your rise to fame were white.
Well, if anybody can say anything, when he left $50 million on the table, he
Which
actually
he made more than that. Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
No, but still, it don't matter if you made 100 million. If you left 50 million on the table, there's something to say about that. So he left that on the table. And what his mindset is, the people who were running the show and abusing, which is why people go into the systemic racism argument, were whites at the top. All right. So what he's saying is, through his personal experience, what he's seen, he's generalizing it. That's where my problem comes in. You can speak about an industry instead of speaking about industry, because he could say Hollywood, where whites are controlling it. This is the abuse I went through. But instead, he uses the word whites as America blanket statement to criticize the entire
So you're
race.
saying that it was an incident, and he's generalizing that incident as that's how these people are.
And I think it's a valid a valid situation, valid instinct that happened. And in that situation, what happens is, what we do is we take one situation and we generalize it, right? It's like when you see those videos when somebody gets into a conflict at a grocery store with a white person, and all of a sudden you hear, oh, it's all these white people in this country. That's why we don't mess with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, yo, you just went on one interaction. Focus on your interaction. Stop focusing on 100+ million other white people. Or if you want your movement to be powerful and you're chanting Black Lives Matter, why don't you direct your attention to a certain group of leaders and people that are white, so you can actually be specific and effective? But they don't do that, which is why the movement falls short.
Wow. Can we just end this? Let's end this live. That was it.
That's the problem. I like to generalize it because the hard conversation, the devil's in the details. People don't like to go into details because you have to explain, you have to dissect, and you have to sharpen your own argument. You can't just throw around systemic racism
without any way to justify it.
Exactly.
It's the Jordan Peterson. It may seem that way, but it isn't.
Exactly. That's it. It may seem that way moment, man. And I wanted to play a clip since we're on. You had something you else wanted to play?
Yeah, I have Stephen A. here.
Go ahead, because I know I like where you're going.
I know he tried to clean it up at CNN, what he said originally, because I'm sure ESPN wasn't too happy with how he said this.
You got the CNN clip too?
I do not have the CNN clip, but we can show that as he tried to clean house here. But look at what his initial reaction was to the whole Jon Gruden thing, and you will be surprised. And this ain't being played. And mind you, I had to search for this on YouTube. So check this out.
Unpack here. Stephen A., I'll start with you. What do you think should happen to Jon Gruden?
Not a damn thing, other than what's happening to him. He has to stand before black men, knowing what you said. It was racially insensitive. It was irresponsible. And there are people that are going to view him as a racist now. He has to live with that.
Mm-hmm.
But as it pertains to what should happen to him, I want to emphasize this. He should not be fired, nor should he be suspended. He was not working for the NFL in 2011, a decade ago, when this email was when he wrote this email. I believe it was to Bruce Allen, who was running the Redskins at the time, and he was close with Bruce Allen from their days back in the day with the Raiders or whatever. But he was not with the NFL. He was working for us here at ESPN doing Monday Night Football. And so when you take that into consideration, the fact of the matter is that I don't believe that the NFL should have any jurisdiction to do.
You see why he had to clean up here on CNN now, Lewis? You get it? He was working for us here on CNN. Excuse me, on ESPN. So now, what does ESPN got to do? Wait, we didn't deal with this? We don't want that smoke. We don't want that heat.
Do anything with him based on an email that circulated from a decade ago. If that's the case, I got news for you. There's a whole bunch of people that's in a world of trouble. When we get to sit up there and reflect back on things that we said, or emails that we may have written from a decade ago.
He just trying to cover his own ass. I'm gonna just be straight up with y'all. He's just trying to cover his own ass, because he probably said some stuff in emails that if he pissed off the wrong people, he's out. He's out of all that money, and they will out him like nobody's business. And plus, Mr. Stephen A. said some racially insensitive comments on the air. What did he say? He talked about Mr. Ohtani not knowing English and how that was not right. You're making all these millions and you don't know how to speak English. And for those of you who don't know who Mr. Ohtani is, he's probably the greatest hitting pitcher right now that we've seen. We're playing for the Los Angeles Angels. I was about to say Anaheim. That's where they previously were. But he said some racially insensitive mind you, many guys have said racially insensitive comments or even queer comments, and they got the boot. They had to apologize. They had to, stoop low, and they got out of there. They out. Mind you, he said a racially insensitive comment about a man not knowing English, and he still has his millions, still has his job, still has his influence. So he's talking a lot about himself here.
Or more. There's a whole bunch of people in this world that's going to be trouble. That's going to be in a world of trouble if that's the litmus test, or if that's the standard by which we get to decide whatever ramifications or repercussions need to come in somebody's way in terms of their job security and what have you. That is separate and apart from what I feel. I don't believe that Jon Gruden should be fired. I don't believe that he should be suspended. But I do believe that he deserves the black community and a whole bunch of white folks as well looking at him with a raised eyebrow like, who are you?
Now you just talking outside your mouth. You talking double-sided out your mouth. I can't understand which way you going here, player.
He did a 180 for the Don Lemon interview.
And I'm glad that you pulled that up, because I want folks out there to understand where we're coming from and how the media just manipulates us.
I like how you explained it offline. Like, why you think he did that 180? To say that again really quick for the audience.
He said he was working here for us, ESPN. The other point is he's saying, if we're really going to talk about the emails, which we're going to get to that, and I know we're on time here, we're going to get to what about the emails, why that is so significant. But he's saying if we're going to really go penalize a man for that, we're all in a world of trouble. Oh, we are. And he put himself right in there. I don't know if anybody noticed that. We are in a world of trouble. Go ahead, Lou. Roll the film.
Thank you for breaking that down, because now you're about to see the backpedal. You ever done that backpedal drill? My man did that drill to perfection right now. Backpedaling, can't really say what he really thinks. And here we go. Let's play the film. So this is now Stephen A. Smith after the ESPN comment going on CNN to tell the world that he's changed his mind. And I wonder why. Shaquai just broke it down. All right.
years of emails laced with racist, misogynistic, and homophobic comments came to light. The emails sent while he was working as a football analyst on ESPN. So that network telling CNN, and I quote here, the comments are clearly repugnant under any circumstance. But is this just a sign of a deeper problem or deeper problems in the NFL? Joining me now, Stephen A. Smith, star of ESPN's First Take and Stephen A.'s World on ESPN Plus, and newest member of NBA Countdown. Listen, the resume is long and well-deserved, the accomplishments. Stephen A., thanks for joining us. Let's get into this. Floodgates open after this Wall Street Journal reported in 2011 email where Gruden said that,
Yo, is it me or Stephen A. Smith look like, damn, I got to backpedal. He's like, took a deep breath now.
He got ringed. He got ringed.
Yeah,
There's no way around it.
Yeah,
And
he had to
let them decide.
Yeah, keep this in mind, guys. We feel like he had to say this after Macho just showed the ESPN because he indicted his own network. He was a little too honest for TV. Let's make it like that. He was too honest.
Wow,
this
great
NFL
point.
Players Association executive DeMarcus Smith, and I'm going to quote here. He goes, "Dumb Borses Smith has lips the size of Michelin tires." And the Times report that he called the commissioner, Roger Goodell, a faggot and a clueless anti-football pussy. That was in 2012. And he called then VP, now president, a nervous, clueless pussy. He also criticized President Barack Obama. He also shared sexist memes about female referees, denounced Iran.
Oh, he came after the GOAT?
A gay player in 2014. I mean, he's offended just about
everybody.
Everybody.
He give him credit for this. He didn't miss. I can tell you that, but he offended everybody, and obviously it's a.
That's not what you said yesterday. Yo, who's paying this man? Whose man's is this? All right.
Cheap, because he doesn't deserve credit for any of this. He deserves to be shamed, and that's exactly what has happened to him. My initial response when the first email came out, I was a bit hesitant to call for his firing and his dismissal or even the suspension, Don, because I was of the mindset it's one email that happened in 2010 about.
Brother, you know what you were reporting. This. I see what you're saying. This is an amazing backpedal. I thought it was just one email. I thought it was just one statement.
At the time, I didn't do that, So, and then let me just play this few seconds here. People can see.
Morris Smith, the executive director of the NFL Players Association, and I thought the shame and having to apologize and look black players and black colleagues in the face, knowing what you said and how you described DeMorris Smith was enough. But then, as of last night, according to the New York Times, we heard all of these reports, and you didn't.
Anyways, the point is, my man.
Sell out.
Like no tomorrow. Why? Like I told you, you can't be that honest when you're in TV. You can't be that. You can't give people what you really think, which is what we here for. We're trying to just flesh it out. Yo, say what you mean. Like it's okay. Doesn't make you a racist. Maybe it's okay to say, hey, let's dig a little deeper. But he did say, I would say this, it is more than I realized when I saw it there, everything he was saying, It does seem like he crossed the line, but
Good
as
point.
far as one, it was 10 years ago. That's my first thing, which is I think it's unfair regardless because it was 10 years ago. And it just seems too coordinated to get rid of him for whatever reason. But yeah.
My whole thing is it's never good. It's never right to say that. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going to let everybody in on a secret. He didn't say this publicly. He didn't yell at his players saying this. He didn't yell slurs at anybody about this. Where was this, Lou? This was in an email to the owner of the Washington Redskins at the time. That's what they were called. The Redskins, now called the Washington football team. He was talking to the owner there. Why? Because his brother was the head coach of that team. So I guess he was trying to bring some kind of persuasion on who they should draft. Don't draft dumb Boris. That's what he was saying. Don't draft these folks because I don't like them. I don't like their character. And who was he working with? He was working with draftees. He was getting a glimpse of who these guys really are and how they should steer clear of some of these guys because they're headaches or their problems or whatever the case may be. Now, he could be wrong, and his delivery was terrible. But have we not heard that from our peers? Have we not heard that from one another? We've heard that. And mind you, if Jon Gruden was black, would we say the same thing? I'm gonna submit to y'all no, because Stephen A. Smith still got a job. So what I'm trying to say here is this: is that one, this was a private email, and you brought up a great point earlier today. You said 650,000 emails. First off, for y'all don't know, we're gonna give y'all a little breakdown real quick. Washington football team is being investigated because Rob Schneider, the owner of that team, has been indicted or accused of some kind of sexual harassment or hostile work environment, and he's under investigation by the league. So they look at all the private emails and all that stuff. So out of 650,000 emails, these are the ones to surface? These are the ones to surface? And here's my point of view in all of this. This is my cynical point of view. Ready for this, Mr. Savory? If I haven't been cynical already. I believe, and as we pull up that stat there where we got this from, I believe that the Raiders organization and the NFL collaborated together to release those emails publicly because they were said privately. They were said privately. This was private. This was a private email. Mind you, they could have dealt with this internally. They could have fined him. They could have did all this. They could have cleaned that up. Now, if he would have said something publicly, I understand it. If he would have been talking to his players like that and his players have been bringing up complaints, now I understand the release of those emails. But you're just going to release them on them? So you release the emails out of 650,000. My thing is the Raiders team are not going the way the Raiders organization thought it would. They thought Jon Gruden would implement some of his tactics, would implement some of his guru-ness and bring the Raiders to the promised land. Hasn't done in the last 4 years. Has been having issues with players. And look at the way they did Antonio Brown. Now, he might have did it to himself, but look at how they exposed him. Look at how they were trying to end him. And now you're trying to end Jon Gruden. Now you're ending Jon Gruden. He's done. He's done for.
He resigned.
So my whole thing is that they collaborated together to get rid of Jon Gruden so they don't have to pay him the rest of his contract, which they had 6 more years with him. So they needed a reason publicly. So what did he do? He resigned. They didn't have to fire him. They probably came to some undisclosed agreement on how much they would pay him out. That's the only reason why I think he just walked out. Like, look, I'm leaving. It's all good. I'll bow out of this one. You guys won.
So it's a backdoor.
You got what
agreement.
you wanted. It's a backdoor agreement, and the NFL's dirty for that. The Raiders are dirty for that. They're dirty all together for doing this.
Hot take.
And my thing is you want to know how I got that take? I got that take because they used the card of racism. It's supposed to get us like this. It's supposed to make us feel this way. Why do you think they're going to ask a black man what you think about those racist comments? What you think he's going to think about it?
Yeah,
you think he's going to like it?
Turn us up. This is a planned attack, man.
This was coordinated.
You know what's interesting about that is I asked myself, all these things are coordinated. Things come to light, right? But only things get really emphasized when the media wants you, right? A prime example, we got Hunter Biden's email. Just really quick. I find that really interesting, right? Where you could have made a big deal out of it, but you were shutting people down on Twitter who were speaking on it. You were calling the New York Post article that came out. They had to take it down Twitter during the election.
They took it down.
I asked myself, are the Jon Gruden's email more devastating than the Hunter Biden ones when we talked about national security during an election, all that, So I asked myself why, right? Whatever you think about anything when it comes to these things being leaked, every time I hear about it leak, I always know that it's coordinated, right? Unless it's a whistleblower that personally came out, but when it's an organization, like you said, I tend to agree with what you said. Now that you explained it deeper, I tend to agree with that sentiment because I think it's a coordinated effort, something, right? If you investigated 650,000 email and this one comes out, I'm sure there's worse things in those 600.
Oh my God.
Emails, right?
Oh my God. There's got to be more terrifying things in those emails.
Yeah.
But you know what? The NFL, so the owner of the Raiders, here's where I think it will happen. Owner of the Raiders said, yo, Roger Goodell, yo, see if you find anything, because I know he has a relationship with Rob Schneider. I know because his brother's there. Can you do me a favor? Can you see if you can dig something up on our brother? I know something's got to be in there.
Yeah.
And Roger Goodell says, sure, how much? I'll hit you off with this. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure that the next time your job is up, I'll make sure I'll vote you in to keep you as commish. That's my
So,
take on it.
yeah. And it goes back to, unfortunately, this is politics. And they want the public to talk about something and respond on something. So they use racism, they use the NFL, the timing, they do all
I'm
that, right?
tired of you using my skin color. Listen,
Yeah,
don't look. I know I'm a one dropper, but don't use my skin color to try to persuade me one way or the other. I'm gonna make my own analysis, and of course, I'm gonna look at Jon Gruden differently. Of course, but what he said in private has nothing to do with me, because I said worse things. I hear worse things from people in my neighborhood, and mind you, I don't see a lot of white people in my neighborhood. I heard it all. So why are we becoming so soft all of a sudden when we hear it from somebody like a white man with blonde hair like that? Jason Whitlock, who used to work for ESPN, I'm not sure if he still does as a writer, he said, are we that sensitive as black people to hear words and all of a sudden, like, listen, he didn't say this, I will. They used to hang black people. They used to beat them. They used to own them. And you want to talk about us reversing backwards, Randy Moss? I'm going to hit you with what you say. Come on, man.
So
What you talking
hold up.
about?
You onto something. You hitting a button. We got a comment in here, and I want to go through this. Here we go. It's not the Raiders organization. It's Roger Goodell. Jon Gruden has been openly anti Goodell for years, and with the subpoena of the 650,000, this was Goodell discrediting him and ruining him.
Wow.
So validating what the coordinated attack you're talking about, which when you look at it like that, is nobody's safe in the culture we live in now, because they can pull up something from way
Hey,
back.
Herrera, thanks for that. Thanks for that comment, man. That just blew. So, but wait a minute, Mr. Herrera. Oh, I'm not sure, Mr. or Miss. I'm sorry for even assigning any kind of.
Yeah, I think it's Mr. Man.
I'm sorry.
He ain't with these.
My whole thing is for even, are the Raiders excluded? Are they exempt from this? Because you could have pushed back on Mr. Goodell and be like, yo, my man, I could vote you in or out. I could persuade all these owners whether you have a job or not. Remember, the owners own the man. So how is it that the Raiders are not exempt? That's my whole thing. They're not exempt from this. They wanted to figure out a way to wash their hands of this man because they signed a 10-year, $100 million deal, and they're not liking where their football team is going. It's time to start fresh, get rid of the man. That's my whole take.
So,
and I agree. I understand where this person's coming from, but my whole thing is, go ahead.
So you think the you think the NFL is in trouble, right? If you look at overall, do you think because of viewership, the politicized NFL, I kind of want to like bring it home with some of these thoughts here, because I love where you were going. So I got another question for you, because I want to continue hearing from you. So I want to say, do you think the NFL right now, where is that, has been politicizing the sports too much? Has been kind of like, with the kneeling, the BLM, they all started all that. Do you think it's catching up to them?
I don't know if the NFL is as much in hot water as the NBA is. I don't know, because the NFL has so many players. When you think of the NBA, who's pushing back? You have one guy that comes to mind, Jonathan Isaac. And we're not even going to talk about Kyrie Irving, because he's not pushing back in the way Jonathan Isaac is. He's coming from a place of faith. He's coming from a place of faith. And he's coming from a place of like, this ain't a white or black issue. This ain't vaccinated, unvaccinated. I don't get my inspirations for Donald Trump. That is what he said. Or Black History Month. So he's pushing back in the ideology. What I'm saying is there are a lot of other NFL players, black particularly, who don't see it the same way as the Colin Kaepernicks.
Got it. So it's a little more balance in the NFL than it is in the NBA.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think they're as much as in hot water as the NBA. They're run by one particular ideology, LeBron James, who's running the way these dudes gotta think. Because if you speak against that, you speak against LeBron James, he's King James, right? You speak against him, you out. Mind you, like, look, this happened in the NBA. This happened in the NBA, where an owner had to sell his team for what he said in private. Stop exposing because you're not going to like how this is going to go, because now we're going to expose some of these minorities, and y'all not going to like how it's going to look. Y'all not going to like it. So wait, hold on. Let's see.
Every rapper in the NFL has performing at the Super Bowl has more offensive lyrics than Jon Gruden had in females. How does the NFL reconcile the difference in
Correct. We
treatment?
don't want them coming after you.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah,
We don't want you.
come in
We
with
don't
the
want them
heat,
coming.
Come in with the heat, but that's facts, though. You know, I know we come in to a lot of
Yeah.
these final
And it's
thoughts and
true.
stuff. But
How
this is
many
great.
when they wanted to penalize the baby for homophobic slurs? Y'all must have forgot how rap is, how hardcore rap is. Go back and check your history. What they said about gay people, what they say about women. Go check your history. Don't pick one or the other. Do it all. If you want to be righteous about everything. Don't tell me, oh, the baby this, the baby that, and he's talking about this and this, that, and the third.
Yeah, yeah.
Expose it all. Close this out, Mr. Savory. What you got?
Yo, I just want to say, yo, your thoughts had my mind moving, bro. Yo, but that's facts. These are the kind of conversations we want to keep having in order to kind of like just bring a different point of view to these hot topics, right?
Right.
Rather than the same old narratives that we continue to hear. And it becomes a little repetitive, it becomes a little like, man, is this what we want to hear? Nonetheless, thank you everybody for joining us.
Yeah.
I want to let everybody know where we're at. I'm gonna start again by Twitch. Follow us on Twitch. We got Macho Fix, we got Savory Edition. We go live Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Come join us. Follow us on Twitter as well, Macho Fix 88, Savory Edition. And most importantly, we got our YouTube channel that was funneling everything through because we want to build our following subscription in order to give you more content, in order to give you more of what we've been working on day in and day out, man. Thank you for joining us, everybody, at Drinks with a Nobody, where there's no
last calls, baby. There's no last calls. Excited to be here. Thank you, Miss Herrera. I appreciate you.